right, welcome to the Beard and the Bookie. This is actually the Beard and the Bookie. There's the beard. I'm the bookie. And there is no better time to actually call this the Beard and the Bookie than what we're about to talk about. Because this isn't going to be a normal show. This is just a little short thing, and we've discussed doing this before, me and Josh. So this is the first one we're actually going to do where we're just going to dive into a subject, talk about it real quick, and get the hell out of here. But when I hear that Calvin Ridley went by the way, while he was out with mental health issues, went to the casino, dropped $1,500 on a 3, a 5, and an 8-leg parlay. Well, my man, I'm here for you. I am here for you because I know the struggle. And then he went out and tweeted, I only bet $1,500. I don't have a gambling problem. If that's not the better mentality, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. But the NFL obviously didn't take too kindly to this, and Calvin Ridley is now suspended at least a year. Initial reactions?
I mean, $1,500 is so minimal when you think about how much money Calvin Ridley has.
Well, I mean, look at it this way. Okay, he got the worst odds ever betting. He bet $1,500 to lose $11 million.
Yeah, that's not bad though. And he said, what did he say? It was he only bet on the Falcons, like he didn't bet against the Falcons.
Yeah,
So
I was gonna say he did like I said, he did 3 different parlays, assuming we're gonna assume he split them evenly, 500 apiece, so a 3-leg, a 5-leg, and an 8-leg, and it was said that he did bet on the Falcons. So
yeah,
I don't know if he attached the Falcons to every one of those parlays, like if they were the big hitter on each one or what. But like I would love, okay, like obviously they did the investigation, but let me see these parlays. I need to know. Like, did he hit? Did he hit any of them?
yeah. I mean that's really the question, I guess, is did he win? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
and if he did, I want to see the betting slips. That's what I want to see. I want to see what
Yes,
these parlays were. Like,
that's what I'm saying. And did he have
but at the
player
same,
props?
yeah, I mean, it could be. I mean, he's not playing, so isn't this the same thing we kind of went through a while back? Not not anywhere near the same thing, but like when we were talking about NFL players having fantasy football teams,
Yes.
and like I don't want to sack Russ again because I'm starting him in fantasy this week, or things like that. But it seems so hypocritical to me, this whole thing. Like $1,500 to that man to win 11 million, whatever. That's like that's a flash in the pan to him. $1,500 is nothing. Um, and this is apparently like the investigation's been going on for a while. I think they said the Falcons were notified on like the 9th of February about it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Apparently, the Falcons, in good faith, did not take any trade offers and refused to trade Ridley because they knew the suspension was coming.
yeah, they didn't know what it was for, apparently, or they weren't telling teams what it was for. They just
Yeah.
said we can't, in good faith, trade him to you because of this. Now it's interesting because $1,500 gambling, like I don't know what Pete Rose's numbers was. This kind of feels a little Pete Rose esque, but not on the
So
same level, obviously.
that's I put up a Facebook post which you responded to immediately. Basically, much to what I said here about his statement is total gambler's mentality. I love it in every way. Like Calvin Ridley is one of us.
Yes.
Okay, let's just put that out there. He's not an NFL player. He's one of us. Okay, and then again, I want to see the bet slips. I want to see the bet slips. But really, I want to know, like, did this help his mental health issue? Was it hurting the mental, like what part of the gambling was involved in the mental health? But other comments I got were, of course, everybody brought up Pete Rose, and you cannot compare this to Pete Rose. For one, okay, Pete Rose is what, 40 years ago now?
Yeah.
The 30, 40 years ago, nothing was legalized, nothing was regulated then, none of that. And also, Ridley's not hiding behind this. He said, I made a mistake, whatever. Pete Rose denied that for years
Yeah.
until he finally admitted it. Now he signs everything that you're willing to pay for with I Bet on Baseball. Okay,
I
so
think
that's
I think the the comparison more comes to Pete Rose in that this is a higher caliber player getting caught for betting,
Yeah,
and like that's where it ends. Like it hits that piece, and then that's it.
yeah.
Because
I
Josh
think we're
Walsh
stretching
was
high
the last guy
caliber
to put
player.
it. Hey, he's a national champion at Alabama. Okay,
I forgot who I'm talking to.
right?
Excuse me.
Yeah, forget. He went to Bama, so I know all about his college career. But I mean, to be honest, when he came in, he was Julio's number two. After Julio left, he was supposed to be the guy, but then he ran into all these mental health issues and stuff. Hasn't been necessarily a high caliber wide receiver at the NFL level, but he's a name that's readily known amongst the NFL community. Like fans know who he is.
Yeah.
If I told you, the name Josh Walsh back in 2019, no one knows who that is. But that's the last guy that was suspended for gambling prior to this. So it makes the headlines in that way, and that's why people want to make that comparison because it's a bigger name. It's not one of the best players of all time doing it. It's not like coming out and saying, like Michael Jordan's gambling habits being exposed or something like that in the 90s. So it's considering the combine has been kind of lackluster, and I mean, we're seeing some cool things, but not a lot overall.
Seeing guys run
This is
really
just
fast.
another football topic for us to kind of go over, and kind of detract from a not so great college class this year. Um, as far as like skilled players and flash, there's not a lot.
No,
So
I mean, the combine has been
looking at it from that perspective and having a gambling issue when every ad that's in a football game ad break is for DraftKings or FanDuel or Barstool Sportsbook, all these guys. It's weird that something like this would happen to this level, like an indefinite suspension for at least a year. It seems a bit expensive considering how much they're aiming to get into the gambling space.
yeah, DraftKings is the official partner of the NFL, which is probably a good reason why Ridley got suspended and slammed because he did not use the official partner in the NFL. Um, and like you said, the combine's been lackluster. The biggest headlines we're getting from the combine is guys are running really fast, and Kenny Pickett has very small hands. I mean that's what we've gotten from the combine so far. So nothing really much there. But I mean the suspension is the NFL's way of trying to tell every gambler at 7:30 on a Sunday night when it's late in the fourth quarter and there's a flag that affects your bet that it's not us affecting the integrity of the game. Okay, we're not standing for any of this. And that's really how Ridley got caught. I mean, Ridley went to Florida, which is a state that doesn't have legalized gambling, number one. They did lucky enough for him, he went at the time where they did have one casino that was allowed to take sports betting, which was the Hard Rock, which now is no longer open. Well, I think the casino's still open, but they no longer have sports betting. Like Mickey does not allow sports betting in Florida. That's a no-no. So he got in and got out, but okay, what Ridley doesn't know and what common people don't know, at a casino is when you bet a certain number, and every casino has a different number. I don't know if he hit the magic number or not. Okay, but they ask you for information. Everything is reported and regulated. So, it wasn't hard for Calvin Ridley to walk into a casino, bet $1,500, and for that to trickle back to the NFL.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe that's part of where his mental state comes into this whole thing. Was he not in the right state of mind to realize that like what he was doing was going to get reported back to the NFL? Like maybe that's where that aspect of this whole story comes in. But
What Here's what I don't understand. Okay, because it's funny. Yesterday I was given a story and asked to look into it because DraftKings just got fined 150 grand because a Florida man made an account and was having somebody in, and again, can't bet in Florida. Florida man made an account and was having his buddy who lived in Jersey make the bets for him. And then through geolocations and stuff, they were able to figure out blah, blah, blah. But obviously, DraftKings, letting bets happen across state lines that are not allowed, they're the ones that get fined. And the guy had like 21 bets voided, but God knows what he cashed out beforehand and blah, 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 blah. That's what I don't understand about Calvin Ridley. And I don't know if it's his mental state. I don't know if he's just not smart enough. But, bro, you want to bet 1,500? Give it to somebody to go bet for you. Like, what is the problem? Like, give it to your homie, tell him to go to the casino and throw it a 50 and give him, like, whatever. I mean, people bet for other people every damn day. It ain't hard.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways around it, but I think the main lesson we've learned in that respect is something that we see is so easy to be able to work around, is that NFL players don't necessarily think the way that we do and don't operate the way that we do. I mean, Antonio Brown's a perfect example of that.
Well, that's CTE.
Yeah, I know he's an easy target to hit, but there's so many NFL players that don't know these things because they've never been exposed to it because of their job. They don't know all the works and the ins and outs because it's not something that they get to do on the regular, like in their own sport. I'm sure they can gamble on other sports. Like, I don't think that would have ever been an issue, but
I would love to know if he got to the magic number at Hard Rock where they had to ask him for, in most places it's either ask for your ID or, like, if you have like the casino player card, ask for your player card because you have an account number. I would love it had they asked Ridley for his ID and really just handed it over nonchalant. Like, oh, here you go, man, all good. Like, not thinking anything of it. Like, dude, come on.
Now, this was right around the time, though, when I know they were trying to push for betting in Florida. So, like, him going to the Hard Rock and everything, like, I can wrap my head around it, but like, he knows that he can't bet on football. And I'm wondering if he thought because his amounts were so low that it just wouldn't get picked up anywhere. But a payout of 11 million would definitely get some attention.
Well, no, I don't think his payout was 11 mil. That 11 mil is what he's losing for losing the year.
Oh, that's what he's losing for losing the year. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I said. $1,500 in bets cost him $11 million.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I don't know what. Again, I got to see the bet slips. I mean, what do you have on the 3-leg? Assuming he split it evenly, 500 on the 3 bets. I mean, did the 3-leg pay him out 3-1? He was going to make the 1,500 back. The 8-leg probably would have paid him something decent. Did he throw underdogs in there? Money lines, spreads. I got all kinds of questions.
Do you think he was like ahead on every parlay and then pissed it away with like the last game or two?
You think the Falcons just blew all 3?
I think so. If he had the Falcons on all 3 parlays, yeah, I would guarantee it.
I think that was I was watching something earlier, and like they were, so they obviously, we know when he was at Hard Rock, and so we were trying to figure out who the Falcons played that week. I think they played the Jaguars and lost. I think that was like one of the few. I think that was one of the few Urban Meyer wins. So I could see how that easily blew up parlays.
Yeah, but I mean, because the Falcons didn't. I can't even remember what the record is off the top of my head. That's how far removed I am from football right
now. It wasn't very good. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, it's not great. So the moment he said, like, I bet on the Falcons, I was like, well, that's why you didn't win. Or, at least we haven't heard about you winning any massive amount of money.
That's probably how he got flagged. They were like, yo, somebody's actually trying to bet on the Falcons.
Yeah. Well, Falcons player betting on the Falcons probably threw some flags up for sure. Maybe. I don't know.
No inside info, nothing like that.
And like, does everybody at the casino just know who he is, and that's how it gets back to the NFL? Like, how does that?
No, that's my point. I'm saying I gotta think. All right, so where I am now, our magic number for asking for identification is $1,500. All right, now like I said, different casinos have different things. Some are even lower than 15, some are higher. So it's very possible that Hard Rock had a number of 15 or lower. Okay, because it's not by individual bet. It's the culmination. So
Right.
it was the 1,500. So they had to have asked him for ID or something where they needed to log it. And again, because everything is regulated and reported, okay, that right, they had to log him, and then it trickled through, and that's how it got back.
Yeah, that would make
I mean,
sense.
go in and bet some $20 bets. You might get, maybe you slide under the radar a little better.
Can you? Yeah, you could probably use a fake name even with that. Nobody
Yeah,
would know.
Leroy Jenkins.
I respect it.
Uh,
Good early 2000s call out. I dig it.
Word.
He's probably not old enough to know that. Well, he might be.
That's true. That's true. It's true.
But I mean,
I forget that we're old now.
I know, right? Jesus. We're 1900s kids, so like, we're old. Um, we're all missing the bigger point here, though, is the fact that, like, yes, this is an issue. Obviously, like, it's not news for nothing, but with everything that the Commanders went through, everything that the Washington
Yeah.
football team front office went through, and the fact that Goodell and the NFL front office said that there couldn't be anything written, you couldn't take any notes or anything, none of that could get out about that investigation, and nothing really happened there. And then you get Gruden sends out a couple emails which were bad, no lie, but like
But
you see what happens to Gruden, and now you see what Calvin Ridley gets for
but
$1,500.
by the way, did you see what happened to Gruden today?
No, what happened to Gruden today?
The NFL sent him a letter saying that they wanted to move his lawsuit to arbitration.
Interesting. Wonder why they want to do that.
But no, this is just a further a brighter light on NFL hypocrisy. Okay, I mean, for one, here is a league with arms wrapped fully around all official partners, gambling here, gambling there. Hey, look at same game parlays, player props. They've got players endorsing different, outlets now, but you still can't bet. Don't do that. We're taking a year
Right.
away. But, and to your point, we've got the Daniel Snyder thing where all it is bad. I mean, and every time something comes out, it's worse. Won't let anything come out about it, and he still gets to keep his team. We've got they made a decision on suspending Calvin Ridley for a year for betting. I still have no idea what's going on with Deshaun Watson.
Right.
And that's that's a whole other. I mean, Brady got 4 games for deflating balls.
Deshaun Watson's still out here, talking about what team he wants to get traded to.
Brady got 4 games for deflating some balls and not handing over a phone. So just the NFL hypocrisy at its highest. But do you, coming off of today, do you think this is a step toward the NFL? I mean, again, this isn't something that happens often. I think that, in the history, there's like a handful of guys that have done it. Like you said, the last one was years ago. Nobody knew. And before that, it was like the 60s before anything was regulated. So this isn't, a free-flowing problem. But do you think this is the NFL today taking a step toward making sure this never happens again? Or is this kind of like the weed conversation, where weed was always a no-no, and then weed became more accepted, and then became legalized and regulated, and then all of a sudden the NFL started coming around on weed? Do we think that as gambling is still pretty, we're not fully there yet, but I mean, half the country is legalized and regulated, and more coming on. So as we get more legalized and regulated, do you think the NFL could rethink the gambling policy?
I don't think they will. And it's for a reason that Sean in the chat put fixing games, shaving
Yeah,
points, things like that. I don't see it changing because of that specific reason.
yeah, which is always the biggest thing. And you know, going back to what we were talking about earlier with comparing it, the other thing that people want to talk about is the Tim Donaghy situation.
Yeah.
And again, it's not the reason why, Pete got away with it for as long as he did, and Donaghy got away with it for as long as he did, and Ridley got caught literally in a span of what, 2 months, 3 months,
Yeah.
is because it is regulated and reported. Donaghy was working with the mob, and a corner bookie, where you called on the phone and all that stuff to do all that. Okay. The only person that was regulating and reporting there was the head. Okay, like, pay or I'll break your kneecaps. That was regulations. All right, that's not this. So Ridley just picked bad time and the bad way. There were again, I'm on Team Calvin here. Calvin is one of us. All right, I will not speak badly about Calvin Ridley. I will wrap my arms around Calvin Ridley, and if he needs picks or advice, he can come to us. All right,
For sure. Yeah.
But the number one thing of advice I will give him is, moving forward, dude, be smarter about this. Give it to somebody. Have somebody set up, one of your homies who lives in a different state, just set up an app, where it's legal. Anything that can't track back to you, and you could have did this. But no, you had to walk yourself into the Hard Rock and drop $1,500 and say, I'm good.
So here's a thought. So he's suspended from the NFL indefinitely, is I guess what they're labeling as.
Yes, at least a year is the wording.
So does that mean that he can't go play with Dwayne Johnson in the XFL this year? I don't know how the contract would work for something like that, but
yeah, I would, because most NFL guys have in their contracts that, because even though he's suspended, he's still, all his rights are still to the Falcons and all that, and basically the only thing that's voided in his contract is the right to him to get paid. Everything else is still legal.
mm-hmm.
And almost every NFL guy, especially guys that are getting paid major money, have written into their NFL contracts a list of things that they cannot do. I'm trying to remember. Antonio Gates. All right. Again, I'm gonna be old here. But Tony Gonzalez too was another guy. Both guys played basketball in college.
Mm-hmm.
When they got to the NFL, it was written in their contracts they could not go play pickup games.
Yeah. Didn't Ben Roethlisberger had a thing in his most recent contract where he couldn't ride a motorcycle?
Yeah, after he got in the crash. After the crash.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the original deal. It was after the crash. Like, hey, you almost died. Don't get on the bike again.
Right.
So I would assume, I don't know, obviously, but I would assume there is some sort of wording in obviously, they don't write in everybody's contract, hey, by the way, you can't go play in another league. But I would assume in standard NFL contract, there is some sort of wording that would prevent him from.
They are working like incongruence now, or at least, they're connected in some way. So maybe that would be a workaround.
Let me put it this way. I would think Calvin's head's probably not there, because he did tweet today that, I got a year off. At least I'll be really healthy in a year. However, if you are Calvin Ridley, and there could be the possibility, and you did want to show that mentally you're good and you want to keep the skills sharp and maybe, entice somebody to take you back if you are reinstated, that would be fine. That's a better question. Should the NFL reinstate him? I think, yeah. I think a year is good. I don't think it's a lifetime ban situation. But there's some people that are taking the he should never be back stance.
Yeah, well, those people are a bit excessive. I mean, this isn't the 2017 Astros we're talking here. It's not that level.
Yeah, Rob Manfred, Rob Manfred's punishing us way more than he ever punished the Astros.
It's true.
Okay, can I get some baseball?
Nope. I mean, you get college ball. Be happy.
College baseball is weird.
Yeah.
I mean, now that the ESPN or MLB Network is showing it because they can't show anything else. Like college has some weird rules that like MLB is talking about banning shifts. I mean, college, I can't even block a bag. Ridiculous.
Yeah, that whole banning shifts situation is so far beyond me.
If we're gonna go down that rabbit hole, we're not gonna get in the show quickly. So
yeah, I know. Like we'll save that for probably next week.
Yeah. I was gonna say I would say two more offers will come in the next week that'll be just as ridiculous that I can sit here and tell. By the way, real quickly, I'm just gonna say this again. I said it last week. You came on late, but when me and Carl, anybody that watches this show that is on the owner's side, you're a moron. I'm gonna make that as clear as possible. You're a moron, and I don't know if it's just because you don't understand, or if you're taking this whole, you get paid all this money and you should just shut up and play. You're all billionaires. Stop fighting. Blah blah blah. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. So there. That's my rant on that. But real quickly before you go, since we were talking about how we're 1900 babies, and we're old, I thought of two things that would just drive home the fact of how old we are. So during the Super Bowl, obviously, we watched our halftime show, which was way more catered to us than newer people. But the commercials were also catered to us. Yes. So we had Jim Carrey doing his cable guy character again. Yeah. And I'm sitting there with one of my coworkers who is in his early 20s. And I said to him, do you get this reference? Like, you ever see this movie? Nope. And then here's a better one. This was probably 3 weeks ago. Verizon ended up cutting the wrong cord and cut our connection to our servers. So for a day, we didn't have sports betting. There was no sports betting in the thing. And we were told that obviously until they could fix it, we wouldn't be up. So the guys at our casino said, well, we may be able to hardwire some of the terminals so that we could at least get a couple of terminals up to bet. Like, the kiosk for people, but we could get tellers there.
Right.
We were on dial-up.
Ooh.
We were on, I was waiting to hear the whole, and then God forbid if somebody called on the phone, all that stuff. But let me tell you how none of my tellers knew what the hell we were dealing with. None of them. Nobody knew dial-up. Nobody understood the jokes. Nobody understood anything.
Yeah, crazy. Right?
And I was just like, I give up. I give up.
I'll tell you this. So I needed
the little yellow guy to run across my screen.
Yeah, I remember the yellow guy. You have the paperclip come up and be like, it seems like you're stressed out. Need some help? Old school paperclip. I had a customer today who shared the same birthday as my son, but 20 years ago. So she was born in 2001. And I was like, hey, you and my son have the same birthday. And she goes, oh, how old's your son? I was like, oh, he's 4 months old. She's like, oh, well, I'm 20, so I'm old. And I was like, I want to hit you so much.
She doesn't even know what Y2K was.
Right? Like, you were born after 9/11. Don't at me. Like, you don't understand. Haven't dealt with all the stuff that we've dealt with, but
no.
It's
I was gonna say, like you weren't there when everybody thought you like every electronic was like gonna turn and attack you and all kinds of other stuff.
yeah. Well, the fact that modern musicians or this era's musicians are sampling stuff from our childhood, like, that's how you know you're old now. It's like, oh my god, people are like Blink 182's classic. Like,
Yeah,
I
I
feel personally attacked by that.
that's like that's like the classic rock station in my
Yeah,
area plays Pearl Jam. I'm like, oh god.
mine played Pearl Jam when I was a kid, though.
Eh,
Now again, I'm like 2 years younger than you, but still, like Pearl Jam was big in the early, like in the
but,
'90s.
well, here you go. You want
So
to going to our oldness? There was a tour announced today that I got so hyped for. I went to my daughter and my wife. I said, "We're going." Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Okay, two of the bands are totally when we were growing up. They're not now. Only the
okay,
third band is anything new. All right. So Bush,
okay,
Breaking Benjamin,
nice,
Alice in Chains.
okay. So Breaking Benjamin's the only one that's putting out music still.
Bush is
Well,
still
Alice in
putting
Chains
out.
put out music too.
Bush is still putting out music. They put out an
Okay.
album, I think, like 2 years ago.
I guess I just don't look at Gavin Rosdale as a modern musician. Like,
Gavin, I would say the last time Gavin was in the headlines was with the whole Gwen Stefani thing.
right, like him and Gwen Stefani breaking up. Like, I
Yeah.
remember that.
I
But
still wanted to see The Housekeeper.
oh yeah, true. We see every other housekeeper. Like, why don't we get to see that one? It's
If
probably on Google somewhere. And I just
if I
haven't
can
cared enough.
if I can see every Bennigan's waitress, Tiger Woods tapped, I should be able to get Gavin's Housekeeper.
I agree with Sean. Like, I'm not a big Bush guy,
Ah, you guys
pun
suck.
intended,
Come on.
but like they had one song that I listened to, and that was it. So Breaking
Okay.
Benjamin, I've listened to every album, and who's the other
I
one?
know
Alice in
Alice in
Chains.
Chains.
Alice in Chains was very good in the '90s and hasn't
Well,
been
see,
very successful since.
I have seen Alice in Chains live post Lane with the new guy,
Yeah.
so I know how it is and what. So that's why I'm good with it.
Okay.
You
I was
know.
gonna say Rooster's top three
Whoa,
song of all time.
Sean is being very aggressive down here.
Oh wow. I mean,
That's unnecessary.
that's it's harsh, man. He's apparently he's a fucking '90s rock snob. Apparently, that's what
Apparently, we're gonna have to talk on NU tomorrow. We're gonna have to talk music. He stirred this up.
That's fine.
All right,
I'm
so
here for it.
we're wrapping this up. We've talked enough Calvin Ridley.
Yep.
So tomorrow on NU, I will be fresh from seeing Batman.
Okay.
So I will give you a spoiler-free review of Batman.
Yeah, because I'm gonna try and get to it Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, I will give you as spoiler-free review as possible.
Nice.
We will talk. It's been a while since we did NU, so we've got trailers to discuss. You know, everything we saw from the Doctor Strange. We've got the new Jurassic, whatever we're calling that, World Park, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, we got that, and we'll dive into music since Sean over here wants to be aggressive and talk about '90s music being that. Yeah, You know what I was thinking about too? We should do on NU.
What's that?
We pick a band. So, like for instance, okay, you have not hidden your Linkin Park fandom. Which, oh, by the way, somebody made a comment on a radio station yesterday. I knew you would find very offensive. Very offensive. They questioned who was better at the rock rap thing, Linkin Park or Limp Bizkit.
Shut the fuck up. Oh
I
my
knew you would find
god.
it offensive. Knew you would find it offensive.
Oh.
But anyway, I was thinking of we pick a band. So like for instance, Linkin Park. All right, a band that the three of us listen to. I mean, with Chico that'll be hard because Chico listens to all these bands that like we've never heard of. But and then we pick top 5 songs.
I'm gonna hit Sean in the face. He just said Kid Rock.
I don't even know. Can we call Kid Rock rap? I mean, isn't he like Christian now or country?
Well, I mean, he went country after the Sheryl Crow thing. But
I don't know
yeah,
what Kid Rock. I don't know what Kid Rock is now.
politician.
I don't even know if I want to call him that. I mean, he falls right in line with our current politicians, sure.
Yeah, very true. Yeah,
Maybe we should send him to Ukraine.
Ooh, I dig it.
Kind of like how we sent Rodman to China.
Yeah, send Kid Rock. Well, does Putin care about Kid Rock?
I'm sure Kid Rock could make him care.
Maybe. Oh no, I'm here for it. Just pick the dirtiest motherfucker from like every pop culture thing. So we'll send Kid Rock with Tommy Lee. Those two can go together.
I know Carl continually asked me to watch the Tom and Pammy thing so we can review it, and I haven't watched a single minute.
I haven't either. It's on my list, so I guess we'll do that eventually. But
I'll get around. I mean, I still haven't even watched season 2 of The Witcher. I'm very behind on these things.
Oh my god, you're killing me.
Yeah. I still haven't gotten around to it. So, I got stuck watching the Yellowstone thing, 1883. I was watching.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't watched that yet, so I feel you now. All right.
Yeah. I got other things to watch.
That's tomorrow show shit.
Yeah.
And I'm down for Sean's idea of a band draft. I'm here for
Didn't we already do that?
No, we built a band.
So we're just taking bands as they are, and we're gonna have to specify how we're doing this. Not a wide ranging thing.
It's gonna have to be either by decade or
genre, or even if we do like a 5 bands, but you got to do one from different genre, something like that.
One from each of the last like 50 years. You do 5 bands and from the 70s to 2020.
Yeah, one from a decade or one from like each genre, like a rock band, a rap band, whatever.
Yeah.
Sean only wants the years he's been alive. Apparently, he doesn't listen to music before that.
90s to 2010. That's the same bands.
I was gonna wait. Hold on. 2010. Did he stop listening to music 10 years ago?
Didn't you?
Well, current music, yes. I was like,
if you look at my Spotify right now, it says I live in 2005. So
every once in a while, I will find something new that isn't horrible, like Coheed, who I didn't even know still made music. Just
Coheed and Cambria.
Yeah.
Yeah, they still make music.
Yeah. So the single they put out is pretty good.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to anything else, but the single isn't bad.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they still made music though.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, they still make music. Just not as big because you've got like 21 Pilots and Imagine Dragons are the big one right now.
Yes, Killswitch. By the way, Sean, All That Remains, I think, is touring as we speak.
They are. Yep. Killswitch is as well. They're both touring.
Yeah, Killswitch is coming to my area this weekend, and I cannot go because work would not give me off. So I'm very angry.
They're coming out here. I think the week of my birthday, or like a week or two after. It's like somewhere right around my birthday. They're going to be here.
I am. I know you'll love this. I am trying to go see Fozzy.
Chris Jericho.
So they're playing at a little. There's this place in Delaware. It's a former movie theater that they turned into a place that they do shows. I saw who did I see there? I saw Black Label Society there. I saw Zach Wilde go nuts there, which was awesome. So Fozzy happens to be there, and I'm like, oh, that'd be awesome to see Jericho go ham in there.
Hell yeah, that'd be dope.
Yep.
Cool.
And yes, Sean, we know that Killswitch went back to Jesse. We had a very deep discussion about the Jesse Howard thing on this show. Well, on NU.
we did that on either our first or second music episode of NU.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yes.
I know we talked about Jesse Howard.
We already talked about it. Jesse sucks. Sorry.
You think Jesse sucks? I think Jesse's fine. I don't have any issues with Jesse. I prefer Howard, but Jesse's fine.
Okay, in comparison to Howard.
Yeah, he doesn't hold a candle to Howard, but he's fine.
No, that's why I listen to a lot of Howard's new band.
Yeah,
who is touring with Killswitch currently.
Yeah, they still tour together, so cool.
Yep.
Whatever.
Light the torch. That's what they're called. All right.
Light the torch.
All right, so we'll dive into all this tomorrow. But Calvin Ridley, again, slide into the DMs, tweet at us. I don't care. We'll help. We are here to help you, my man.
Yep, we're here for you, bud.
I want your mental stability to be clean and clear. All right. Until tomorrow, we'll see you guys later.